welcome back. This is the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum. Good morning. My name is Winston Robinson. I am your facilitator today, along with co-facilitators, Ms. Laura McCluddy, Ms. Carlinia Ivory Canty, Ms. Jackie Edwards Walton, Ms. Natalie McElrath, our timekeeper, Ms. Mary Johnson, Mr. Shea Abdullah, Mr. Gary Young, Ms. Jasmine Wright, Mr. Steve Johnston, our website editor and archivist, Ms. Aretha Sherrill, our chaplain, and one-man house band, Dr. Thomas. Our forum runs from 8:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m., at which time we will pause for announcements from the audience. Announcements can also be sent to Steve at sjohnston, Johnston with a T, at TuesdayForumCharlotte.org. As always, we open with a prayer, and we will ask Mr. Ken Kuntz to lead us in a quick word.
Hey, look, while I'm praying fast ahead. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Like I always try to start out, what a wonderful day it is that God has made. And everybody, we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. But we're going to do something different this morning. Each and every one of us has a relationship in our own way, our own being. And for me, thing that came to mind is after yesterday, is followed through today. And that is the song, worship song, How Great Thou Art. And when I hear those words, how great thou art, I'm reminded of my mother, who was a songbird, when she would sing that Bring Down the House. And the older I've gotten, the more it brings down the house for me. So I don't know about what's going on in your house, but whatever it is, I'm going to yield to you to do in your own way, your own silent moment with the God you serve, and the God you know, the God in whom you have tremendous faith. But I think sometimes he either ain't hearing me, doesn't believe me, or as my daddy would say, he's going to always answer your prayer. Sometimes it's going to be yes, sometimes it's going to be no, sometimes it's going to be not now. So there may be some things on your mind that God is more willing to answer with a yes. And let me kind of hang out with my not now prayers. So let's take a few minutes of silence in our own ways and go to our own God and do whatever it is you choose to do for the next few minutes. Amen. I know some of those prayers were probably not through. Some didn't take but a few seconds. But nonetheless, he heard our collective prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Combs. Whatever you want to do, Pastor Marvin Sapp style, shut the doors so we can pull up that head. This topic. All right. If you had some of those delicious chicken minis today, that was courtesy of NC Black Alliance. Come here, Jasmine. Give us a quick word. Let us know about the sponsors of this Tuesday's breakfast.
Good morning, everybody. I am Jasmine. I'm the Southwest Region Coordinator for NC Black Alliance Advanced Carolina, who sponsored this morning's breakfast. We are a Black 501c3c4 dedicated to building Black economic and political power. So thank you, Tuesday Morning Forum, for always having us. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm just about to do the guests. But let me shout out my homie from Black Voters Matter, who is visiting with us today as well, Tasia. So I'll let her.
That is a great segue, because now we're going to have introductions from people who are visiting for the first time. So I'll come on right to you. You tell us who you are, any affiliations or association that you would like to proclaim.
How y'all doing today? My name is Latasia Fitzgerald. I have the pleasure of serving as the Piedmont Regional Organizer for Black Voters Matter. We believe that Black voters, Black people matter, 365, not just election time. So I'm just grateful to be in the space to learn from all of you. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay. All right, okay, so following our presentation from our, who you want in, Ms. Jackie? Call them out. Who's going in?
Ms. Perkins, she gonna call me out.
Yeah, get called out.
Yeah, I am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Perkins England, and I'm here for the first time as a community support. Professionally, I'm a personal and professional development coach and have been working with UNC Chapel Hill for the past 4 years in supporting their students from start to finish in getting whatever degree, whatever process they're going through. I have the wonderful opportunity to support individuals in that manner. So thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to the meeting.
Thank you for joining Ms. Perkins. Where were you in 2004 when I was at Winston-Salem State? Could you use that support?
Yes, Howard Moore Real Estate, Michael Thomas. I am amassing a team to help manage a program. It's going to benefit the United States of America, operating in all 3,142 U.S. counties. And I don't want to give out the information in terms of what it is, but it's going to be a Black Economic Empowerment Project that helps Black people, homeless people, jobless people. It doesn't matter. It helps people get out of debt, huge debt that we're in and no one is paying attention to, that I am paying attention to, that we can bail ourselves out of, this is a phenomenon that has never existed before in the United States of America. And I think we'll be world renowned for this project that I've written myself, this business plan that I've written myself. And I need a team of 1,000 great minds to help start up, launch, direct, manage, oversee this nationwide Black Economic Empowerment Project. And see, there's Plan 76 Economic Stabilization Plan that I've written for Black women and men entrepreneurs that stabilizes us so that we may be able to give our undivided, sustained, focused, undistracted, undisturbed, full-time attention to taking care of this economic illness that we have that no one's paying attention to. We're looking at physical illnesses and mental illnesses, but not economic illnesses.
Thank you so much. You got to join us now. You got to present this, man. We're playing right at 2035. All right, here we go. So we have a panel of guests you might have seen. We have CEO Mr. Marcellus Turner as the main presenter, but he has a nice panel of people who I'm sure we will learn about shortly. But following his presentation, we will take questions from the audience. Please raise your hand and we will add your name to a list and call on your name as we add it to said list. Questions should be questions. Questions should be no longer than a minute. Also, the question should, the answer you receive is the answer that we have to accept. We do not do back and forth. We do not debate. And we have a timekeeper, Ms. Natalie McElrath.
You said questions should be a minute, 30 seconds.
30 seconds, excuse me. Questions should be 30 seconds. Yes, answers. We'll get there. You know, we'll let you flow until we can, have a little issue with time. Again, our timekeeper, Ms. Natalie McElrath, who will signal when the time limits are met. And without further ado, we will hear from Mr. Marcellus Turner.
Good morning, and thank you so much. We're so happy to be here. My name is Marcellus Turner, and I don't say that often, so it feels funny on my tongue. But everyone knows me as MT, and I hope that you will feel comfortable calling me that as well. I'm joined here by my great colleagues from the library who represent something we do at the library. So they will join me in this presentation to talk about what's going on at the library. But I'm going to start with just a little bit of an intro about our library, and I'm just going to make sure it is moving. So we are Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. I will also say this, I'm normally a person who stands and wonders, but they said to stay in space, and so that might be a little challenging for me. But we are Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. Our mission is to improve lives and build a stronger community. We do this each and every day through our 21 libraries across the city and county. Our core values are, and I'm going to have to look this way because I can't see that far, learning, openness, respect, inclusion, and leadership. And we try to deliver on that every day. Just a little bit about us. We have 8 million total circulation. Library visitors, we have a little over 2 million. We have 341,000 active cardholders. I normally don't do this, but I am going to ask, how many cardholders do we have? A library card. That is great to see. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have about 20,000 programs each year for all ages. We also have Wi-Fi usage. You can bring your own computers to our libraries to use. We have 22 libraries. There's an asterisk by that because we have one that is being built. We have 458 total employees. This is just 6 of us. And then finally, our budget is about $53,792,000. So we're really excited and doing well in this city and this county, and we're excited to do that. Is that my timer? Oh.
Somebody forgot the moment of silence.
You take that 30 seconds seriously. I was like, oh, no. So we're really happy to be here with you. We're also joined by our board chair, Charles Thomas. Charles, raise your hand. Who helped us get on the program. We're really glad for that. So we are going with 11 volunteers total to help us govern the library. So we're really pleased to have them working with us. Just so you can see our budget, we have about a $53 million budget, close to 54. We receive those monies from different areas, state of North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, ABC board, federal and other revenue, but we also have expenses that go across all of that, salaries and benefits, library collections, facility-related items, programming, and other operating expenses. So we use every penny that we're given, and we're so appreciative of that. I do want to just take a quick minute and draw attention to other revenue. Other revenue is our opportunity to have support from our foundation. Our foundation is our fundraising arm for the library. Some of you may have been donors to the library, and your money helps us do the work that we do, so we're really appreciative of that. We're right now in the middle of a campaign to build our new upcoming main library. We're always in the campaign mode, so if you would like to contribute to that, we're happy to take that as well. But there are other ways to give to us, so we really appreciate that. Our strategic direction, and just so you know, we have some flyers and brochures out on the back corner. I think I was able to give just about all of our pens away, and I didn't realize they would be such a great hit. But I will tell our marketing department that you love the multicolor pens and that they should do more. But we have a couple of items back there, including our annual impact report, which tells us all of the work that we've done over the last year. But we are also rolling out a new strategic direction, and I want to just take a minute to talk with you about that. Our strategic direction, there are brochures at the back. Again, if you want to pick up one that just tells you. But for the next 3 years, we're going to focus on 4 areas of work. They are our main library, which is building it and ensuring that we have programs there for you. We're also preparing and excelling our staff so that we are prepared to do the work that helps you in your job. We always want to be a welcoming and accessible location, and we're going to talk about a few of our new locations coming up. And then we also want to learn and engage. We know that many of you come into our libraries for informational, educational, or recreational information, and we earn resources. And so we want to be able to focus on that. So for the next 3 years, that is what we are promising you that we will do across the system. I also want to just take a moment right here and just talk a little bit about what I think about. I had a few minutes with several of you before the meeting started and was talking about, or at least getting to know you. And just wanted to share with you what we are working on as a vision for the library. If you'll think of a 3-legged stool, it'll tell you what we're doing. We're focusing on care. We want to show you that we care about you. We also want to show the community, and we also want to show our colleagues that we care. So we're doing that in many ways. The second area that we focus on is building on our strengths, our collections, our programming, and our North Carolina history. We do great work there. And then finally, the pillars of our community. When I moved here, I did not realize how Charlotte was such an arts community. And so in that arts community, we have budding, new artists, we have established artists. And so we're really trying to highlight the work that we can do with our communities. 2 of the other areas that we focus on is health and education, and we're also looking at civic and cultural engagement, an opportunity just like this to talk about the things that matter. So, You noticed in the strategic direction that one of our main areas of focus is main library. Well, if you have passed by Tryon lately, you know that we're building a new main library. I see a few heads nodding. This is what the new main library will look like. We wanted to give you an idea of it. Just to give you a point of reference, the street running in front of the building is Tryon, and we're right next to the McGlowan Theater. So we're right there where Spirit Square was. And we're really excited about that building. It is absolutely beautiful. So just to tell you a little bit about the library, my apologies, I was thinking I was going to be walking around. It will be state of the art. We will have a night hall thanks to the contribution and donation of the Knight Foundation. We'll have an open air courtyard. We'll have new and innovative programming. We'll have an immersive theater for live performances. We will have an actual cafe. We're working on that to bring you food and refreshment throughout the day. We'll have a new resident welcome center, and we will have 2 outdoor terraces. So there will be one on the 5th floor and one on the 2nd floor. We're also going to be technologically advanced with an opportunity and career center, an innovation lab, a technology hub, digital visualization lab, study carrels, and multi-purpose classrooms. We'll have about 15 meeting rooms in this new building, so the community will have a space to gather and use us. If you look at the 2 pictures, that's just giving you a reference of what the new building will look like, and then the bottom picture is the 5th floor where we will have an event space so that we can host up to 220 seated guests. So we're really excited about that opportunity. That's just another picture of it so that you can see the 6th Street side of the building, but we're really excited about this and really ready for it to open. We are thinking that we'll get the building in about 2026, fall of 2026. And that might mean that we can open then, but it might mean that we'll push a little bit into the 1st of 2027, but we're here for you. I know. Just so you know, we're always improving and enhancing what we do as a library. And just to give you a point of reference, I don't know if this has a pointer on it. No. Okay. So our capital improvement plan is what we do to build new libraries. And so you'll see that we have in the orange balloons on the map, those are our regional libraries. And you might be familiar with Allegra Westbrooks, University City, South Park, South County. Those are our regional libraries. They're a little bit larger. And then we have our neighborhood and community libraries, which are the blue balloons. And so those are more in the neighborhoods. And then just so you know, we're actually working on 3 new projects. In case you didn't know, we are moving our Sugar Creek Library, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. We're moving it a little bit further out. We also have plans to start on the West Boulevard, the new West Boulevard Library. If you know where the YMCA is, we're going to move to that campus. So we will be moving that and giving you a bigger library. So we're really excited about that. And then we're planning to build a library at Nation's Forest. So we're excited about all of this new growth and the opportunity to serve you better. Just to give you a little bit more about Sugar Creek, the library at a glance. This is our current Sugar Creek Library. You may know it as recognizing it as being part of the police department. Long ago, there used to be an idea that libraries should not be connected to restaurants or liquor stores. I've sort of changed my mind about that, and the organization has as well, because being next door to a police department is not all that you might think it's cracked up to be. It's a great location. We have wonderful neighbors there, but we also know that sometimes 2 things I should say about that first. First of all, we're outgrowing that library. If you've been in recently, it's a small library, so our goal is to give you a bigger library, which will be 20,000 square feet. But we also know that the police department needs a larger space as well, so they want that as well. So we're looking at those opportunities. Estimated completion is about 2027. It will have a main library, service points, meeting and study rooms, reading areas, book stacks, and community assembly room. We're actually doing a survey to see what people want in that library. So if you're interested in taking the survey, the QR code is in the lower right corner. You may go ahead or lower left corner from your view and take a picture of it. And it's just a quick survey where you can give us some of your ideas about what should be there. And I see a few phones going up, so go ahead and take it. We'll give you a minute there. It's intended that way. Yeah, and we can also come back to this. You should be able to do the survey while we're talking, so I won't disrupt you from that. We also just opened the University City Regional Library, and we have just been overwhelmed and with joy at how much people are using that library. Do you see each one of those windows in that building? There is a chair at each window every day because people want to look out. And so we are totally full every day with people using that library, and we're really excited about it. It's our largest regional library. It comes in at about 36,000 square feet. We have a dedicated children's and teen area. It's on 2 floors, in case you didn't know that. A large community room, and it's less than a half mile from the Lynx Blue Line, so you can get to us on that. And just for a moment, I'll share with you that you can actually get to about 6 of our libraries on the Blue Line. So starting over at South Boulevard, coming up through town, you'll get to Imaginon and Main Library, and then keeping out, you can get to Sugar Creek. And then if you carry it further out, you can get to University City Library. So we have a good way to get to any of our libraries, and we're really excited about that. We also have mobile library services. Some of you may have grown up with a bookmobile. We don't call this one a bookmobile, but it is a bookmobile. We call it a mobile library, and that's why it says MOLLI. MO is for mobile and LI is for library, but it is our library that on wheels, and it goes out into the areas of the community that are library deserts or that do not have access to a physical location. We have translation materials on there so that you can engage with the staff. We have staff who speak Spanish on that vehicle, so we're really excited about that. But I'm also equally proud, and as are all of the people who work for us, that Molly has a twin, Mila. And so Mila is our internet technology lab. And so on that are 5 workstations that go out into the community so that people can use a computer out in the community. And I think it has about 90 minutes. Does anyone know how long it's out at a station? I think it's about 90 minutes, 2 hours they're there for you to use it. And I think you can get about 90 minutes on there while there. But it goes out into the community for those of you who do not have a computer at home. You can use it that way. We also have a wonderful children's services program. We do some really major events, Summer Reading, Epic Fest, Active Reading. We have a DIA event coming up on the 26th. And we also have Story Vines. So all of these are some really great programs that we offer just for children. We also have adult programs. I'm going to slow down because when Shantae speaks, Shantae is going to go very, very fast. She's our fastest talker on staff. So we have a Senior Planet, we have DigiLit, and we have networking and social opportunities. Our Senior Planet program is for those who are wanting to learn digital literacy and technology. We have a team that goes out and helps with that, or you can come to our library and have those services. Our collection count, for those who want to talk about it, our collection count is 2,592,125 items in our collection. We have adult fiction, we have e-audiobooks. I know that during COVID, a lot of people started reading electronically, so we have that. We have children's picture books for all of you who have grandkids or children of your own. We have children's nonfiction books to help them with schoolwork. We have books in Spanish, and we have books for teens. Material selection, when researching what materials needed to purchase, we often consider how well known the author is. Harold, we do have at least one author in the audience. Robert is an author, and so I'll make sure that you all are connected. He sent me his book title. I asked him to. We compare the titles in the existing collection with other materials available, and we have evaluation by critics and reviewers from professional journals. That's how we choose the books that we have in our collection. We're also fine free now. All of you raised your hand for having a library card. I didn't ask if it was active, meaning have you used it in the last year. If you have not used your library card in a few years because you might have had a fine, I want you to know that in 2021, we went fine free. What does fine free mean? That means that if you check out a book and it is late, we do not charge you that, what's it, Carrollton? 25 cents a day. So we no longer charge you that. So if you have a record or an account that you used and stopped using, please come back to the library because we will waive that fine right off the bat. Just say my name is Jerry Jones or whatever it might be. I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. But I know some of you, I am not. But so Fred Flintstone, how about that? If you're Fred Flintstone and your card has a fine on it, we will remove that fine for you. However, I will make sure that you understand that we do still charge fees. So if you lose the book, that's a different story. But as long as that book is late, we will remove that fine for you. So if you know family members or relatives who have not come back, please come back. We'd love to have you back. Archives and Special Collections is where we keep the history of our community. I know that all of you have histories through parts of your family. Many of you have lived here a long time, but that is where we keep the history of North Carolina, especially Mecklenburg and Charlotte. North Carolina history and culture, genealogy. If you want to research your family, we have staff who can help you with that. We have rare books, archives, and manuscripts. It is called the Robinson Spangler Carolina Room in the new library. It will be on the 4th floor. We also do programs in genealogy, city and county history, and digitization. So we will be capturing pictures and images, and John's going to talk about that in a little bit. And then this is just an alert that and Harold can probably talk about this better, but we're changing our ILS, and I know this is jargon that you might know of, but if you come in our libraries and use our card catalog or the catalog, the online database to check what books we have, we're switching that to a new and improved one. And so from April 18th through the 22nd, we will be closed. Now, 3 of those days are for the holiday, the Easter holiday. So Friday, Good Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we will be closed. But Monday and Tuesday, we will be closed to the public. The staff will be at work trying to switch us over to the new ILS. It means a few things, and Harold can speak about that in a minute. But with that, you have been such a wonderful audience that I just wanted to give you a kickback and say thank you so much for doing that. I'm going to spend a few minutes right now letting my colleagues or having my colleagues share with you a little bit about the work that they do. And we'll start with Pamela. Did you want me to go the other way, Pamela?
I did.
Well, we'll start with John.
Thanks, MT. So my name is John O'Connor. I am the Robinson Spangler Carolina Room Manager. And as MT said, that basically means that I manage all of the archives and special collections for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. I won't rehash exactly what's on the slide there, but basically the collection includes books. So if there's a book about North Carolina history, the whole state, I'm going to buy that book. Maps, we definitely focus on maps related to North Carolina, but Mecklenburg County, Charlotte. We have definitely over 600, probably over 1,000 different maps of the area that we're looking to digitize soon, which I'll talk about in a second. Rare books is kind of a weird collection in that I don't buy rare books just because they're rare. I buy them in service of either the genealogy collection or that North Carolina history collection at this point. But that collection also includes things like books that were part of the original collection from the Carnegie Library back in 1903. So that's why they live in that collection. And then archives and manuscripts. So that's like family papers, photographs from people across Mecklenburg County. I do draw a very bright line around Mecklenburg County. So if you have something related to your family in Cabarrus County, I'm going to politely refer you out to the Cabarrus County Public Library. They have a great local history room there as well. So I do try to keep it focused on Mecklenburg County because I would like to sort of own our own backyard as this. For this group in particular, I want to highlight a really big gap that we have in our collection, which is the Charlotte Post. So as you may know, the Charlotte Post is the largest, or at least primary, African-American newspaper in Charlotte. It has been around since, 1890 something, I want to say, certainly before 1900. And the unfortunate thing is that they didn't save any of their archives until about 1974. So we don't have any issues from them from before 1974. JCSU has one issue from the 30s. It's in really rough shape. So if you know anybody who has old copies of the Charlotte Post sitting up in their attic or in their basement, I don't care what condition they're in, please let me know, because those are literal gold to the community. It is such a huge gap in the narrative for us to be able to tell. So that's going to be my piece that I really want to highlight to you all here today. And I'm going to swing it back to NT, or actually,
Let's take panel. Ready now, panel?
I guess so.
What's going down?
Hi, I'm Pamela Carter. I'm glad to see several faces in here that I know from being in the library for 29 plus years. I am right now the interim assistant director of outreach. So some of the information that MT shared.
We got a streaming audience, so we gotta use the mics for them, not us. I know it's a small room.
Gotcha. So some of the things that MT mentioned with the Mila and also Molly fall under the outreach opportunity. We also love to make sure we are connected to lots of different communities. The branches have a primary purpose of working with inside their community and engaging. But we know that sometimes there are people who live in Charlotte that are not close to any of those branches. So our outreach department is responsible for going out to community and providing a lot of the same things that the library provides. So we do Senior Planet, DigiLit. We do just conversations at a variety of different areas, like senior centers, nutrition sites, park and rec, different homes, places where people may be in custody of something, detention center or in the hospital, Spanish-speaking communities, and a plethora of other places. That is our responsibility, is to help the other people in the community thrive just like everyone else who live and have access to the library. If you have any questions on it.
We'll go to Harold and then
Hey, good morning. My name is Harold Escalante. I'm the Assistant Director of Collections and Access for the library. So what that means is I oversee all of the purchasing of our collection. So all of the books we own, all of our online resources, my team selects all the things that we have in the library. I also oversee all of the circulation of our materials. So everything that checks out of the library, I work closely on the policies. I work closely with branches to make sure that everything circulates correctly. Some of the things that we have in our collection that you might not know, we have book club kits. So those are kits with 10 books that you can check out and start a book club. We have Chromebook kits with internet access. We have hotspots that we circulate. Everything is free at the library. So we circulate those at no charge. I am also working very, very, very closely with our integrated library system update that MT talked about. So this is the back of house system that we use to manage all of our materials, to manage our database of customers. So it's a big undertaking, which we are speeding our way through, and will be done sometime this month. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer those.
Good morning. My name is Shantae, and I will speak slowly as I have been personally called out. I'm so excited to be here this morning. I'm the Senior Program Manager for Adult Services, so focused on our public programs that we offer at our libraries. I work with our librarians and staff at all 21 locations. We have staff that are dedicated to providing programs for adults. So that is obviously a broad range. So we serve 18 up through retirement. So we have a couple different focuses, but I'm happy to answer any questions that folks have. Digital literacy and workforce development is a big focus of ours. So I highlighted here on the screen Senior Planet, which is a newer program for us, but it's targeted digital literacy for seniors. And it's a great, more conversational model to kind of help build confidence over time. And we have a Computer Essentials series where you meet twice a week for 5 weeks to kind of work and getting comfortable using the computer. But again, it's you're with your peers and you're learning together, and it's very much the place to ask every question you want to ask but are afraid to ask in another type of class. And then we also have DigiLit, which Pamela mentioned, and we do both of these in the in-house and outreach capacity. DigiLit is our, you want to learn Excel in an hour and a half, sit down, get those steps, do the thing, be able to put that in your resume. So that's more of like how to do specific software and things like that. So we have those at most of our locations. As well as we offer one-on-ones. So if you want to sit down and bring in your phone or figure out how to access your email, we have one-on-one appointments we can offer you with library staff and volunteers. And then more generally, we have all sorts of programs. We host authors, we have book clubs, we do special presentations. We're really trying to build up our writing programs and workshops as well. NT mentioned art programs as well. We just finished our community read of 2025. This March, where we all read one book together as a community, and the theme was art. So we had lots of wonderful local artists come in and do workshops. So it's a broad area of work, but it's probably one of the more visible besides the collection, where you get to kind of engage with our staff directly. So I'm happy to answer any questions about it. Thanks.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Garrett Smith, and I am the manager for Imaginon. So those of you that don't know Imaginon, it's a quite unique location. It's one of our flagship locations. A lot of times, I like to point this out. Sometimes if you're born and raised here, or if you've been here for a while and you've heard Imaginon, you're just like, oh yeah, Imaginon. This is a nationally recognized building in what we do. It's a unique partnership with the Children's Theater of Charlotte. We live under one roof. And what's great about it is not only do we do the recurring things, the story times, we have about 4 story times each day, Monday through Saturday. But what's great is because of the space that we have, we are able to host quite unique functions and events, such as Epic Fest. And Dia, as MT mentioned, is at the end of this month, and I have to keep remembering it's April. This year's going really fast, but we do serve children and their families from birth to 18. I won't go over some of the traditional programs that we do, but I would like to highlight the things that we offer children and emerging adults, and that is I'm going to start with our Teen Loft. We have a leadership academy for our Teen Loft. I want to also stress everything that my colleagues and I are sharing is free. So, if you know a teen and emerging adult up to the age of 18, let them know some of the things that we're doing in the Teen Loft. This Leadership Academy, I actually see a couple faces. We had a panel of community leaders to come in to talk about basically what they do in their careers, and it truly had a major impact on the lives of our emerging adults. And so the things, it may sound really, and it is fun at Imaginon. A lot of things that we do are fun, and we encourage literacy, but we're also building our next leaders. And so it's really important work that my team and I do. So we have the Leadership Academy for Teen Loft. I'm going to also mention that the summer reading is extremely a huge thing at Imaginon. We are just coming off of what we called Puppet Palooza. It was our 2nd annual Puppet Palooza. Typically takes place in February. Next year, it will be the end of January. So be on the lookout for that. It's just a fun puppet. You're surrounded by puppetry all day. And this year we had about 3,500 visitors from the time we started at, I want to say 10 o'clock in the morning till about 4 o'clock in the evening. So if you have small children, grandchildren, if you know children, please come visit Imaginon. Also, what I began last year was what was called Robotics Retreat, and we focus on encouraging STEM for low socioeconomic children. This will be the 2nd summer that we will offer Robotics Retreat. We're focusing on our preteen ages between the ages of 9 and 12, and it's fun. the reviews that we got back from the kids. We actually had it the week of 4th of July, and the children were saying, the last day was July 3rd, and they said, well, can we come tomorrow to test our robots? And I was saying, tomorrow is a holiday and we will be closed. They said, but can we still come to the library? And so that in itself just spoke to me in terms of, you know, children, when you mix in fun with education, it sparks something in children. And so this year we'll be repeating the robotics retreat. Get the word out. You'll see something on our website regarding the robotics retreat. And then lastly, at the end of each year, we have New Year's Eve. And so what's unique about that, we as adults, I'm quite sure, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I've gone out New Year's Eve some years back and enjoyed bringing in the new year. But we have little ones as well that deserve to celebrate a new year. And so the 31st of every December, we have a celebration, at noon, we celebrate the new year coming in, and it has truly been a hit. I think it's one of MT's favorite events where we drop balloons, we have a band. This past year, because MT mentioned this, we are an inclusive environment, and so one goal I set for my team is to make sure that we are offering a sensory-friendly environment. And so this past year, what we offered was a sensory area for those that may be overstimulated, whether it's light, sound. And so we had, instead of dropping balloons, because balloons can't pop, we dropped bubbles. And so that was very, very successful as well. And so again, while Imagine On is unique, it's not unique in the fact in terms of libraries being open and engaging as well as inviting for all that want to visit us. So I thank you.
Thanks, Garrett. So that covers all of our presentation. We're happy to take any questions that you might have. And as we think of things, we might add a little bit more, but all 6 of us are here to talk.
All right, thank you. So before we go to questions, make sure you guys get breakfast. We have plenty of food, don't be shy. Our first question is coming from Mr. Ken Combs. Before we go to him, John, let me say this. If you have not spoken to Sharice Terry, who owns Archive, she's great at sourcing local Black ephemera. Garrett, MT, if a liquor store would work beside a facility, Imagine On is the one. Because, man, when it's time to go, but that scavenger hunt is a little tough. Woo. And then if you could kind of plug them directly, so it's a partnership where that liquor can kind of flow in. Anyway, we will have our first question from Mr. Ken Combs.
Hey man, in that liquor store, what about that? I actually remember the library before it became the one that we were tearing down to make way for this one. And I visited that one that we're tearing down to do this one. So in short, I'm a dinosaur. My question to you is about the big whitewash. And the big whitewash, let me explain and ask. To the extent that the library has and collects a variety of documents and maintains items of Black history, do you have any hints of or evidence that the current federal government intrusion, restrictions, or funding threats are currently imposed or in development that kind of restrict some of that effort that you're doing, especially in the areas of African American history?
Sure. So that was not a question I saw coming, but fortunately it is a question that I work on every day. As many of you might know, the current administration is enacting several executive orders and legislation that may challenge what libraries do, and they're doing it in several ways. One of them is that they're challenging the library's role in providing access to information. And by access to information, we call it intellectual freedom. Intellectual freedom in libraries means that you as a parent, you as a person who wants to find out information, we're going to provide you that access to information. So that's our role. There are some challenges that are coming down that are twofold. One of them is that they are trying to remove the authority of the library staff to select the books that we want to choose. It's happening more in the school libraries, but I do have colleagues across the country who are experiencing it themselves. So those challenges will restrict what can be put in the library. The second thing that is occurring is that there are some legislative efforts that are coming down, and I know that the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and all of the academic institutions here have been directed to remove their, not remove their collections, but severely restrict their collections along the DEI spectrum, including BIPOC communities, Black and Indigenous people, but also the LGBTQ community. So that makes some of the selection of books a little challenging when those laws are passed down. Right now, nothing has come down that specifically prohibits us from doing so. So we are going to continue, one of our goals is to continue providing access to information, and intellectual freedom means that we're going to buy those materials that are of interest to our communities. Right now, we have not received any challenges of that sort. They may continue, but what I will also say is that, as you heard John say, one of our goals is to capture and collect the history of our community. And so this community is a community that's built of many cultures and many races, and we're trying to collect that information so that we have it for prosperity.
Ms. Carlin, yeah.
Good morning. Thank you, MT and your staff. Point of privilege like you do. Couple of things. First, I want to say congratulations to Charles, who was honored with the highest award from Johnson C. Smith the other evening. He's done some outstanding work in this community. A couple of things, and then I'll ask my questions. I know that you guys did Black History, and I actually called the library. And even though I was told that you were not the one initiating it, it was still done at the Allegra Westbrook Library. And I feel like we should know before we let someone come in and do something. One of the things was WBTV, and it was two people who were being speaking. Ken was one of, and the other person, but it was the first female to actually work at WBTV was not invited. And I think if we're going to do something, we need to make sure we know and do it right. The other, and not taking anything away from these individuals, we recognize Dorothy Counts, who deserves it. But there are 3 other individuals, and on your flyer, it was not. And that's Gus Roberts and Dolores Huntley, who are both deceased. But Fanny Waterman is alive and well. And they also were the first to integrate CMS schools. And then and I'm just saying, if you're gonna have something at your facility, make sure that it's right. I did call the library. The other, I appreciate everything that you're doing as far as, and CMS does participate in Epic Fest. And it's great because you actually have the office come to the schools. But what I'd like to see is, right there on Vegasford Road, you have Bronx, you have University Park, and you have Poinsett. Do you guys do the mobile roadshow with those? Because unfortunately, kids depend on their parents to take them to the library. That doesn't always happen. But are there any programs where there's like a mobile roadshow? Ones that I would love to see. You mentioned the writing. Our kids need help when it comes to the writing. So that's something that you might consider doing. And imagine are those programs free to children, and how do we how are we marketing them besides, on the, website? Do we send information to the schools? If you need additional funding, you might see Charles.
Charles, we're happy to provide you with a microphone if you wish to answer that, but, thank you so much for all of those questions, and I'm sure that Pamela, might be able to answer parts of it, but to your first point, those recommendations to ensure that we're more inclusive in our panels that we create, we will certainly strive for that. I'm not always certain what goes into selecting someone. Sometimes they're not available on the evening that we ask for. So we'll definitely look at that, but that's also an opportunity where we could have just had them come on their own. So we will look for more of those opportunities to do so. And thank you for those names. We'll make sure that they get to the teams that work on that. The other thing that you mentioned two other things, whether Molly could come out into those communities. Pamela can speak to that. And then the second was about writing for the kids. And I know that we do writing programs for writing and reading. So we do have
To the schools.
Sure. So we can answer those questions as well between Shante, Karen, and I. We can answer that. Pamela, you want to start first?
Yes, we travel around both Molly will go around in different areas that has a capability for their vehicle to park and a connection with the schools. That's our main issue, is making sure we get connected with the schools. Sometimes we don't get to hear from a principal or the media specialist at the school. They can't stay there all day, but they can have an interaction with those locations. And then as well as our small department of outreach, we also go into areas to do programming that could be literacy based. But we are a small department and we cover all of Mecklenburg County. So we do have authors that come to a variety of those schools that you mentioned, but we bring authors and we have to rotate them out. But we would love to bring them the next time we have an author in. We just need to have those contacts and interaction with those schools. That's the key part. And we're open to making sure we're providing some kind of programming in the areas that can't get to the library, have that access to get to them. We really would love to work with them. So just let me know. Just talk to me later on.
Just to answer your question, yes, all of the programs at Imagine On are free. I do want to point out, because we do live under the same roof as the Children's Theater of Charlotte, sometimes folks get us mixed up. We're either all library staff or all CTC staff, Children's Theater of Charlotte. And so the Children's Theater of Charlotte, they offer various shows, and their shows do cost money. But anything that's library related, it is always free. As it relates to Imagine On offering writing classes, we do various workshops. I failed to mention that at Imagine On, we have two unique spaces. We have a maker space as well as Studio I. And in Studio I, we have a recording booth as well as technology and equipment for a green screen. Green screen means, it's a green screen behind you, and we have the technology to record and place anything. It could be a beach. We can adjust, or adapt the background based on what we're doing. One unique program that we did offer, and again, I want to let you all know, libraries, these are your locations. So if you want to see something, we have to hear from you. We get feedback from folks that come into the library, but I'm so glad to hear that you did contact the library and let them know your concerns, but also what you want to see. And so that's every location. I really welcome feedback from all of you, those in the room and those that are watching virtually. If there's something that you want to see at your location, call us. We are definitely wanting to provide the services and materials that you want at your location or at various locations. So in the studio, one unique program that we did offer for 12 to 18 was a writing class where we recorded students in terms of journalism. It was based on journalism. recording them. They were responsible for writing their own script and then sitting in front of a camera, reading that script, and it had various iterations of what that looked like. And so that was a quite popular program that was offered early in the school year. And so we're thinking of revisiting that for the summer for emerging adults. In terms of marketing, you did say, with marketing, we do have personal relationships with CMS, both in the department, but we also have a designated person that works with CMS and other community organizations. And so in terms of marketing to schools, marketing is almost like communication. Communication, and I'm putting a little personal business out there, been with my husband 35 years. During that time, sometimes we miscommunicate. And so communication is never a checkbox. Just like marketing. Marketing, you just can't, it's not a checklist. There's so many different ways. Word of mouth is still the best type of marketing. However, we do put information not only on our website, but we also share with our partners what we're offering at our locations. And so if you all are seeing, hey, I didn't know a program was going on, again, call us, let us know. There are probably gaps where we're not aware of, where we need to get the information out. And we can't be successful as a city, as a county, if we don't work together with the relationship that we have. And so we definitely want to hear from you. And if you have any ideas, please contact us.
Is it one more?
I mean, if you want to add to it, go ahead.
I'll tie it in.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. I happen to have the next question. Good morning, Gary Young. You alluded to civic engagement being one of your areas that you lend resources to. I was curious to know what type of civic engagement programs would align with your vision or your goals, or even help you reach certain KPIs that you might be trying to reach this year.
Sure. So a couple of things just to follow up. I didn't want to take away from the opportunity to talk about questions. We're also on social media. So you can find out about a lot of our programs through social media. And if, as Garrett was sharing, if there are other ways that you think we can do so, we are happy to do that. Did I?
Miss Ivory says she's not.
You're not on social media, okay. So in some instances, I don't know, for some of our programs, there are flyers in the building. If you actually come in the building, I think Molly carries a few flyers as well of the programs and events that are going on. And one of the big things that I should also say, anytime you walk in one of our libraries, there are digital screens in the libraries, and those are our marketing tools as well, and they often have the upcoming programs listed there. So,
but you have to go to see it.
You do have to go to see that. We'll figure out some way to. I say Fred Flintstone.
Email.
I've talked about.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, points of privilege. Come on, we're building it.
I'm not talking about me, but the people who need to be there don't necessarily go there. Thank you.
Sure. So I use the analogy Fred Flintstone, but we're going to have to do George Jetson and figure out how to zap it over to you, this information. But Charles did mention that we have email that we have that available for, we have flyers. But to your point, making sure that any of our community partners have flyers about the upcoming programs and events will be good, and making sure that these flyers show up in the community whenever we can get someone to do it, we will do that. So yes, to the question about civic engagement. Civic engagement is that opportunity for us to reflect and amplify the concerns of the community. So we're always looking for those opportunities. Shante did mention one of the programs that, well, two things. First of all, for those of you who don't know, one of the other pillars was about health and education. And we currently have a partnership with Novant Health, where we have wellness hubs in 3 of our libraries, and you can pop in there on certain days. You would have to go into the library to find out what days they're there, go to our website. But they are in the community, and we have health professionals who come in and talk to you about health and some concerns that you might have. So those are open for that. But Shante also spearheaded a program maybe last year that was a women's health program. And it was a health program catered to women, but families as well, and supporting them. And so civic engagement falls into those areas, and cultural engagement falls into those areas of trying to meet the needs of the community and what they would like to see. We're always looking for program ideas. We are hiring a community program manager who will help us bring forward those programs that you want in the community to talk about. They can be anything from housing to cost of homelessness to food insecurity. One of the programs that Gary just mentioned is the Leadership Loft Academy. The kids in that program are currently doing a project on food insecurity. And so they are researching ways that, I think they're working with 7th Street Market and trying to figure out ways that they can help them reduce food waste and think about other ways to deliver those foods to people who might need them. So those are some of the examples of that. Our KPIs are mostly centered around programming, circulation, and access, but we do count the number of visitors that come into our building. Is that a cake for me to say something? Okay. Yeah, the kick works a lot better than your sign. That helps. So we'll own Carol out every Tuesday morning, just sit here at the table and kick the guests if they're running on time. So I'll stop there.
So I happened to grow up in the library. My father had a studio. He's an artist. Had a studio downtown 8th Street. And of course, during the summers, when your father watches you, there's no structure or no itinerary, which ended up with me spending hours in the library. That's where I fell in love with the Carolina Room. So as an adult, one of my programmatic goals is to bring the Carolina Room out to communities so we could have a reflection of Charlotte's culture and history to kind of push back against that narrative that there is none here. What would that look like for such sensitive items, for such coveted items, for such important items if we wanted to tell a story about a greater community with those resources that are in the Carolina Room?
Thanks. Yeah, that's a really good question. Some of our items are, as you say, very sensitive and very fragile, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we are opposed to bringing items out into the community to show people under the right circumstances. Since the main library has been closed, we've been in a very nondescript building in East Charlotte, but we are open to the public by appointment, so people can come in and use our collection, and I do want to just highlight that. And I know that's not really what you're asking, but we also have gone out into the community, out to the branches, and have been doing a lot more programming around our collection since the main library has closed, and we've made that a point of focus for us to get out into the communities, especially historically underserved communities that the Carolina Room hasn't really focused on in the past, right? So that is something that's very important to me, and part of how I have kind of reoriented the collection or the department to focus on those things. I think as far as like taking specific items out into the community, that would be something that we would handle on a case-by-case basis. So in some instances, we're happy to loan items to different organizations. We loan things to the Levine, we loan things to the GAM, we loan things to, as I said, other organizations around the county, and we are happy to do that and have those conversations. We've loaned things to Mint Museum, so those are museums. You know, if it's something like working with schools and going out into schools, that's a direction that we have pushed into recently. We have a genealogy librarian, Danielle, who has done a lot of really, really great programming. She is a superstar on genealogy programming. And she started going out into high schools and talking to high school aged young adults, not kids, but young adults is really what they are. So we're very excited about that.
We're using Harold's to kick everyone under the table, so I turned in that way to kick. One of the things, just to follow up on that quickly, and because we're staff, really don't like for me to have a microphone in front of me because I think of ideas that we could do. But, you know, one of the things we may look into is how can Molly be repurposed at certain times to carry some of John's collection out into the community, where the staff travel with the vehicle and they can stand there and talk to it. But just say, okay, all right. But we're always looking for opportunities to bring our collections out into the community or our staff and our resources out there. So that might be something we can consider or look for another vehicle that we can do that with. So, yeah.
All right, y'all, it's crunch time. 15 seconds per question, 30 seconds per response. Please ask specifically to the person if you have something, unique that you want to ask for a specific department. All right, we have Jasmine, Jackie, Miss Tina, Nathalie, Shay. We'll just stop right there. So again, we got a lot of questions. All right.
We will stay here after to answer questions.
All right, Jasmine.
All right. So you mentioned, y'all track who comes in, but I'm curious, how do you all track the day? Who's coming in online and what does that look like?
So I don't have the numbers for what it looks like, but we do have a way to, first of all, let me say this, your privacy and confidentiality in the use of the library is yours. One of the gentlemen that Mr. Coons asked about some of the laws coming down. Some of those are challenging privacy and confidentiality of the use of the library. But one of the basic tenets of libraries, and has been a tenet of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library since 1903, is your protection of your privacy. So we count the physical bodies that come in. We don't count who came in. We don't know if you're black, white. We don't know anything about that. We don't know what age you are, unless you're going to imagine a baby. So we don't track in that way. The same thing for our online counts. Numbers come in. If you're attending a program or event, we can capture it that way, but we really do try to protect your privacy. What we will try to do, though, is every now and then we'll do a survey, and that survey will give us a lot of information, and one is coming out in a few weeks about that very thing.
Awesome. Yes, Jackie.
Yes, I was at the Hilton this past weekend, and I saw the beautiful library around the lake and everything. I also want to mention to you that Dr. Jerry Jones, African-American gastroenterologist here in the city, so there's another Jerry Jones.
Thank you.
And Dr. Thomas Moore used to do a New Year's Eve noon event for children years ago, so you could have that piece of history. My question is, you were talking about genealogy. There are a large number of folk that move into Mecklenburg County every day. Can you talk a little bit about genealogy and what you may have in the way of the Norfolk and the Charleston ports?
Sure. So our genealogy collection is worldwide in scope. I do want to start with that. But as you can guess, we sort of focus on North Carolina, South Carolina, and then westward expansion, right? So that's sort of the way that the collection is oriented. We have worked really hard in the past couple of years to bolster resources for African American genealogy. And then, as I said, if you know Danielle or her programs, she does excellent work working with African American genealogy. She has programs around getting past the 1870 census. She has programs on DNA and genealogy. And she had, anyway, I won't list them all, I don't have the time, but as far as resources for specific ports, that I'm not entirely sure of off the top of my head, I'm going to be honest with you. We certainly have a lot of resources around wills, especially in North Carolina. That is helpful for being able to track getting back beyond that 1870 census. We have used those to good effect in the past. I will get your contact information and find out more for you on that specific question.
All right, Ms. Tina.
So pre-COVID, I used to belong to Hackerspace, which is a makerspace where we learn how to use 3D printing and do laser art and vinyl cutting, blah, 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 sewing, on and on and on. And it was an adult space. It was for adults only. And I noticed that the Huntersville Library had a little itty bitty makerspace. I'm just wondering whether you're going to be offering that at other libraries.
So we do have makerspaces available at several of our regional libraries, similar to the one in Huntersville, North County. They are really focused on programming and teaching on the machines. It's been, I think, a journey for us trying to find the right balance of equipment that needs to be updated, the type of ventilation you need to have that kind of space. But we do have active makerspaces at our South County location, at our North County location, at South Park Regional. I know Sugar Creek recently bought their own 3D printer so they can start doing programs. So we've got the kind of official ones, but then we're trying to actually bring makerspace programming across the whole system. Because I think it's one of those things where 3D printers are getting a lot cheaper, so a lot more people do know how to use them or have access to them, but not everybody. And it's a unique kind of thing to learn and kind of an interesting thing where you can design something from your head and have it printed out in front of you and prototype things. So we've leaned heavily into the programming aspect of it and not so heavily on the equipment side of it, though that still exists. And you can get projects printed at South County and our other regional libraries. So it's definitely something we've been kind of working through the right balance there.
We have Ms. Natalie Shea, Rob, the gentleman behind Rob, and Tasia.
My question is a follow-up on Ken's question. This is for you, MC. I know that oftentimes if you don't follow federal mandates, what they do is withhold their budget, which in your case is not a great amount of money. So if they did come down with that DEI restrictions, would you be able to just not follow it and give back the money?
So there are a couple of things that loaded in that. First of all, for us to make such a decision, our governing board would have to approve moving in that direction. However, just to answer your question, we do receive a small amount of money for federal funding. If we were going to remain legal, so I want to say that as well, we were going to remain legal as an organization. What we would do is we would work to creatively ensure that we're putting the right material in the collection for our community. So we would strive for that. And we know that part of a great collection is having something on everything. And so we would continue to try to build that across all ages, so for children's books, for adults, across the spectrum. We could probably absorb the amount of money that we get from federal, but it means that we'd have to make some decisions about what we might cut somewhere else to do so.
Shaker?
I'll try to make my question quick and empty. I want to know if the library and I can keep working together, and I'm going to list some of the things that we've done together so far. John O'Connor's been key in helping me do the research for Safe Cedar Grove. You guys have hosted the Lost Soldiers podcast, all 10 episodes. Just last week, we had a cleanup at UPCA, and the branch was there. We had a resource fair. The branch was there. We are doing Lit Fest at Baby's Ford, once again for the second time. So can we keep working together, you guys?
Sure.
And West Boulevard. We did a Lit Fest at West Boulevard too.
That's the great thing about our libraries, and I know there was a slide that had the locations on, I think it was in the wrong direction. But the beauty of our library system is that we're across the whole county, and the relationships that we try to build are with the communities that we serve. And so all you have to do is reach out to that library manager at that location and ask them for those opportunities to do so. If you're looking for a series type program or something like that, then you might want to talk to Shantae, who actually sort of changes or supports all the program that comes in for a series type event. Yeah.
Rob?
Okay. Good morning, Robert Collins. And I'm the author he was speaking of. My question / statement is this. When children start in the library, it usually maintains until they get older. So one thing you were talking about, like not having libraries by restaurants or liquor stores. Is there any initiative to put some libraries by rec centers, community centers? Miss Carletti, I'm throwing you out there. The sports complex is going to be on the east side of Charlotte. Is there a chance that there could be a library right there where kids can, go AAU, but there's a library right there. So when they're done with basketball or soccer or whatever sport they're playing, they now can go into the library or vice versa.
Sure.
I was thinking about putting it inside the facility.
So I can answer all of the questions. First of all, just so you know, the new Sugar Creek Library is moving out by the Eastway Rec Center. It is not on the same campus as it, but it's a street over or two. That's too far, okay. But that is where we're located. The light rail is there. But to your point, we are looking for those opportunities. You may not know this, but in 2021, 2022, we completed a facilities master plan, and that facility master plan indicated that we needed to add 10 more libraries to our portfolio of libraries. So we're currently at 21. It means we would go up to 31 libraries. As we are looking at places for those other libraries, we can certainly take that into consideration as to where we go. One of the fortunates of being a part of the county who gives us the majority of our money, for which we are very appreciative, is that they help us identify locations and they buy the land. So sometimes we're linked in with where they wish to go, but those opportunities to build near rec centers or on the campus, if they are grounds, we would certainly make the case for that. And to your you said too far?
We'll talk because you
Oh.
are inside the facility.
So going inside facilities, we sometimes have luck and sometimes we don't as a library system. We used to have a library that was in a school, I forgot. Philip O'Bear. And it presented a few challenges as the schools work to keep their kids safe. We are not necessarily the convenience that we want, but there are opportunities to partner along the way, and we will certainly look at those as we go forward, and I look forward to talking to you.
It seems like there's been a historical disparity between nonprofit organization and for-profit organization using the facility in a library like this. $200 for the for-profit, $20 for the nonprofit. We like to, do away with that disparity and allow the library to compete. If you go to any library now, it may not even be anyone in the library, but I'm for-profit. And if I want to use space, I have to pay $200 as opposed to a nonprofit that has to pay $20. I don't want to be nonprofit. I want to be for-profit. So I'd like to do away with that disparity, make an equilibrium there where for-profits can be there. And I'm just giving my information.
No, but you have to answer that question.
This is the question. This is the question.
Let's hear it.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because there's a free thing, and for-profit may be in a space like you look at the libraries today. No one's there.
Yeah.
But
All right, we got you. We have a lot of questions we got to get to. So how can we get that
We asking
disparity
for
out of here?
questions, we're not asking for statements.
So the question is that we pay up for people who wish to use some of our meeting room spaces, there's a for and a nonprofit fee. That is something that we look at on a regular basis, like every 2 years. We can certainly take that into consideration. I know of a few libraries in the Northeast that have gotten rid of all of their fees for use of their meeting room spaces. And so we would have to look at that and look at what we're trying to regulate, which is sometimes over abuse of a meeting space and making it available, but certainly something we can take into consideration.
You said they are.
All right, Tasia.
Sure.
Next question.
I have a question. So in 2023, I know that the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library participated in Banned Books Week, and did banned book reading and things like that. Is there a plan to participate this year? And if so, how can community organizations or whatever be a part of that initiative?
Yeah, so we actually have an annual initiative all around Banned Books Week. We call it Freedom to Read. It's in the fall. So we are committed to doing that annually. We typically do a panel event. This past event that we did was a panel of different librarians from around Charlotte in different contexts in CMS, at the university level, and kind of what they're experiencing in terms of intellectual freedom challenges. So we're committed to doing that. We'd really like to grow the program. I think, as you heard MT mention intellectual freedom several times as part of a focus for us. So it's something that we've been doing and been doing programming around. We do displays at every library highlighting books that have been challenged or banned. But it's something that we'd like to grow as well. So if anyone has suggestions for that, I'm happy to provide more information.
Dr. Thomas?
I just wanted to give some information out about the New Year's Eve shows. I started them in 1979 with my own funds, and we did one show the first few years, and then we got to 3 shows. But it was fully funded. It was never talked about that this is an African American person who started something for the whole city, and others began to copy what was done. And I was a children's librarian in the early 70s. And then in 72, I was over the library at Piedmont Courts during the summer. But there was a lot that was good that I did, and I would be happy to meet with any of you to just share some of the wonderful things that I think, when I think of libraries and how maybe we're not doing the job that we need to be doing. We need to be sharing information with each other about the journeys that we've all been experiencing.
So we would love to have the opportunity to speak with you from a couple of perspectives. First, of being a librarian here in the city is always interesting, so we would love to have that. But secondarily, we always love to hear programs, recycle programs, think them through, so any of us can speak with you and make a connection to the appropriate people to talk more about it. Thank you. That was a gift.
All right, quickly.
Okay. I'll be very, very brief. Mary Perkins England is my name. I really want to let you all know how fabulous the library is, this system. And I say that both on a professional and personal level. I speak very highly, and I'm proud of the library that we have, of the system that we do have here. It's very, very important and very valuable. My question is, I think Garrett mentioned something about, well, I'm going to go down the line, but Garrett mentioned relationship and communication in particular. So my question really is very brief. Would you please provide us with sort of a one wish list or item you would place on a Christmas list for us as community to support what you're doing at the library? Just one.
We'll go down the line.
So I already mentioned mine. If you know anybody who's got Charlotte Post, old Charlotte Post, I don't care what condition they're in, I will come, I will stabilize them, we will pay for the conservation, we will digitize them, we will put them up online for anybody to access them any time of day for free. Please let me know if you got those. Before 1974, let's say.
Oh, thank you. All right, next.
Okay. So it's easy for me to say, as the question goes over collections funding would be the biggest gift I could get. But aside from funding, I would say suggestions. Oh, okay. Was it just money?
Howard All Carroll. I'm normally giving him a different last name now. I gave him a new first name. Harold normally wants more books, so that's the case there. For me, I would say programming, and Shante may say that, but I would say it specifically for the arts community, for us to highlight the art in the community.
Utilize us. Don't wait until things are taken away from us. In order to be an advocate for the library and for learning, we have to be used. So come to your local library or branch location, sign up for a library card, reinstate your library card, and utilize the services, whether it's physical or virtual materials. Utilize it. I would say spread the word. I think the thing I most hear most commonly as someone who does programming for adults is you do stuff for adults. So telling your friends, as Garrett said, using us, but spreading the word, number one.
I would say not being afraid to ask for the service that you're needing, even within outreach. Just because something happens in the library doesn't mean it doesn't happen in an outreach capacity of going to facilities and going to areas. So don't be afraid to ask. We'll figure something out here.
Before we close, let's hear from the latest, again, Arc of the Triumph honoree and the board chair, Mr. Charles Thomas.
So, good morning, everyone. Again, Charles Thomas, and I'm going to be speaking in the capacity of being the chair of the library board. I'm extremely proud of the team that you see before you. I'm proud of this conversation. I can feel the energy in the room of embracing this as our library, and all the wonderful questions and engagement. And I would like to hope it continues to continue on. To Ms. Carlina Ivory, Knight Foundation is a big supporter of the library. The largest grant that we've made to date in Charlotte has been to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. And then personally, I'm also a donor. But what I would say is the thing that I would want is what was touched on is advocacy. So we're currently in some interesting times nationally, as we touched on, whether it relates to DEI, book banning, but also we're in the budget season for the county. So if you have this passion that you have for the library as a representative of the library, we've been building our muscles of telling our story, because we can be kind of quiet, librarians about what we do, but we really need these stories to be told in front of our county commissioners, as well as our state representatives, as well as federal. So we're in the budget season. If you have a story to tell about the library that you want the county commissioners to hear, please let us know, and we will work to get you on the agenda, particularly in May for the budget time, to share, or just sign up yourself and tell the story about your experience with the library, your love of the library. So thank you all.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, please one time for our library professionals. We've had so much amazing morale to the city. We want to go quickly into announcements. Ms. Carlinia Ayo. Ayo, excuse me, Ayo. Lord, I'm sorry. Ayo.
Guys, you were phenomenal. You were great. The only thing I forgot, and I hate to do it with something like that, those benches outside of the Lakewood Westbrook. Oh, I've seen so many homeless. Y'all got to do something about that. But you are phenomenal.
What?
The benches.
Oh, benches. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Who is this? Next.
I John Simmons, South America. We have a great relationship with the library, but I do want to talk to you more about that. I want to remind everyone having a gala May 1st, my very first one. I need everybody's support, and I have flyers. Thank you.
All right. While you walk over there, Jasmine, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Great West Side Fish Fry. April 26th from 1 to 7 at West Complex, the most amazing time you will have in your life. We connect cultures throughout the diaspora via fish plates. Might be a snapper with the head on it, Joe Price, might be croaker with laundry, baked beans, whatever. We connect all the diaspora through an amazing time. All right, go ahead.
Shameless plug. Today, you guys, we are going to Raleigh to continue the fight for our courts. Please let me know if you need to check to see if your name is on that list.
Ms. Combs?
Aging has its challenges. And one of the things we didn't talk about now, if y'all come back again, I don't know where y'all from, how long you been here, how long y'all been here, where you from, because I contend that in 1990, if you came to Charlotte, you don't know Jack. But that's just me. I grew up on Pennsylvania. So if there are resources that you need, there are people here in Charlotte who know stuff and are willing to work to help you to find stuff. But if you don't know, you don't know. So look for the older people like Dr. Morrow there and others who can tell you stuff. And some of them are willing to give you their time and effort. So call me if you want to know some more. But nonetheless.
I'm sure Dr. Moore appreciates you calling him old.
Okay. Hi, y'all. I'm Alexis King. I work for the North Carolina Association of Educators, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Local. And I'm going to plug the rally tonight for the CMS School Board budget hearing. So they've given us the space to come tell them our thoughts and everything. And Public School Strong, League of Women Voters, and CMAE are going to be outside at 5:30 rallying in our shirts. I have some flyers for that if anyone wants to pass them out. We also have our petition we're still pushing if anyone wants to sign that. And that's going to be at the Government Center at 6.
I just want to plug in, this is April 16th at Mosaic Village at the top of the top. This is the last time for this particular session that you can come and hear about the food co-op, the affordable housing, and the revitalization, more revitalization of that 5 Points area with Jatanya Adams at 5 Points Collaborative and Knight Foundation. So please come out at 5:30, refreshments 6 o'clock, and they work from 6 to 7:15, and you're out. It's most informative, and you want to give your input.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another Tuesday morning forum. Come back next week where our guest will be somebody incredible. Dr. Thomas, play us out.